We're here with Rob from Northumbrian Painting Services, who have done our cruise for our Wickham trolleys and trailers. And Rob, do you want to tell us a little bit about your business and what you do?
We make figures in 7mm scale or O gauge, and we also do them in 00. And we do laser cut buildings, but easy build ones, nice simple ones. But our main thing's the figures, which we also paint for people.
Buildings I could put together, essentially, is what you're saying. Yeah.
Very simple things.
Very simple for simple minds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Easy build.
Easy build.
There we go. How does that sound? Not
That
too
sounds
much.
good.
Yeah, they're more or less carcasses. That's what they are. Yeah.
Brilliant. And you've done war figures in the past, haven't you? Still do war games figures. War games figures. Yeah. And then you started doing model railway ones and things, and you took on a much bigger range not too long ago as well, didn't you?
We did in a year gone October. We picked up Omen miniatures as well.
That was it. Yeah.
And since we've got that, we've added an extra 200 figures with conversions and new figures, and so we're well up, probably over 1,000 figures now in O gauge.
Wow. So when you had the van disaster of 2022, when the trays fell out and they all got mixed in, that were I can understand.
To put them together,
yeah.
Including the new cabinets I had to make. Yes, again.
Fantastic
That's
stuff.
part of the fun, though, isn't it?
It really is. It really is.
Yeah, we like to provide a sensible service. Would be a good way of putting it with the figures.
Well,
things that other people don't get or do.
I'm with you. Well, in an unsensible way, can we order a lot more Wickham painted figures by next weekend? Because we've run out of stock.
Do you want to come to Newark with us?
Yeah, stop it. Brilliant. Well, do you want to go? Should we go around the front and see what you do and see a few examples of your painted figures and how they look? So we're around at the front of your stall now, and we can see all the not all of them, but almost all your range of figures, and you've got them all painted.
We'll try to get one of each painted. We've literally got everything from Edwardian, Victorian, right through to modern.
Sorry, we or Michelle?
We. Yeah. Michelle does paint them, yes, that's true. She does the bulk of the block painting on them, and then I do all the fancy stuff when it's finished. I'm the one that does the conversion work to them and the dirty things before I put them into molds.
The fun bits.
The fun. The bits that normally involve some interesting language.
So do you want to show us a few of the different 7mm ones you got? Because I love the pre-painted figures because I can't paint them anywhere near as well myself. So
well, what we're trying to do is get them in little sets if we can, so that people can buy them and then populate carriages or DMUs, anything like that. Of course, we've got a few casualties on there which have happened on the way over, which really helps. Some drunken railwaymen, which my dad would not appreciate because he didn't drink. And he was on the railway for 43 years. So we've started adding stuff since we've got the Omen range. We've added new ones to go with our ranges, and we can do some continental stuff as well. Dutch, French, German. We've got some American O gauge, which is 1/48 scale, slightly smaller, and we've got some seamen and sailors and things to go with boats at 1/48 scale. Quite a lot. Try to cover as much as possible, and the main thing I got more than anything else is the uniforms are right for the periods. There's nothing. One of my pet hates is high-vis on the wrong thing, but never mind.
So what you're trying to say is when we do the models and we've got to get the liveries and running numbers exactly right for those periods, your way of doing that is getting the high vises and the outfits and everything right. Definitely. For those exact periods. Right. Yeah.
Otherwise, they shouldn't go on. That's the way it works to me. Uniforms, people, periods. If you without them, really, you couldn't run a railway. So you need them.
Totally agree. I often think on layouts as well. The people make the railways.
They do. Yeah,
nothing worse than not having a nice set of figures around and stuff.
And the other thing is that the further back in time you go, the more people you had around, because it needed sometimes 3 people to do one job.
Of course, things that have been automated now. Yeah.
Brought down where you might have one driver. At one time, you had a driver, a fireman. You had a guard that was there all the time. You had other people walking up and down the train. You had a lot of crew. Yeah. When people quite often like to have them just running around with nothing in them. It's not. Just makes it look better if you've got something there.
adds to it, brings it to life, doesn't it? It's like it's like the coach figures that you do and stuff. Because obviously we've had loads of those for our Mark 1s and now our Thompsons that we do with Darstead, and then our Ellis Clark Trains Wickham figures that we've talked about loads of times before. I mean, I've just told you this week, and we've sold out of the first batch within 2 days. So it just shows what it means.
It does make a big difference, and we've started getting some done in what they call sidecast, which is it's plastic injection resin, which makes them lighter. They're not metal, and not all white metal that we do. We've got a lot of the almost plastic they are, and they make a big difference. Which is what we've. That's the next thing we're going into to try and finish off all the different passengers we've got. So our next ones will be the 70s, 80s passengers going in. And then we've got the Victorian passengers after that.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for talking to me and looking professional on camera, because we don't off it. Cheers, Rob. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Cheers.
I'm here at Model Rail Scotland with Steve Flint of Pico, and especially Railway Modeller for all the articles and everything you've done over the years. And you don't really need an introduction as such because of your royalty in railway modelling terms. But for me personally, I'm just saying it's almost 10 years now since you asked me to do an article for Railway Modeller, saying where I thought the hobby was going, if I thought it would survive or anything like that. And I remember very much, it was actually a Bristol Low Gauge exhibition you asked me, and you said, well, you're talking very enthusiastically, it's good to hear it, would you mind doing an article?
Yeah.
I did, and about 10 years later, here we are.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing that really struck me was he was a young man keen to get into a hobby that was full of old men and old people, and I was so amazed that a 20 or 21 year old wanted to start a business in it, and I thought, well, is this guy going to make a go at it? And you convinced me that you were, and that's why I asked you to write that article. And look where you are today. Fantastic.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, to be honest, I never fully, other than I was young, I never asked really what made you really, want me to write that. And I was so honoured at the time. I remember I had to get a lot of help writing it because I'd never written an article before.
Well, we own it up in the magazine, So yeah, it was a good thing, and it's really good. Hello, we've got the
Tannoy.
You
can never hear what they're saying.
It's really good. It was really good to see this young man full of enthusiasm for the hobby, because for years we've been worrying that there was no youngsters coming into it, and wait for that man. Yeah, so it was good to see this young man very keen about entering a hobby, and we've been worried about this hobby for many, many years, because you look around today, the vast majority of customers are still of my age and about, but at least there are youngsters coming in, and if we don't get those youngsters in, the hobby is going to fade away when we all fade away. But railways have been around for well over 150 years, and the hobby is well over 100 years old as well. So it stood the test of time. It's beaten television when TV came along in the 1920s. It's beaten Skeletric when Skeletric came along in the 1960s. And what came next? The video era, and we are still as popular as ever despite all these challenges from other forms of entertainment. Model railways is a really creative and fulfilling activity, and that's why I've been stuck in it for so long.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. What do you think it is that makes people, because you've got games consoles, iPads, computers, all these screens and stuff that's screaming, and people always say, oh, you get that old classic thing of, oh, the kids just want to play the games these days. And I always say, no, I don't. I think, for me personally, I think it's that escape, that doing something creative, that you've got something to show for at the end of it.
That's exactly it, because you're making something with your own hands. I mean, all right, you can write code and create something on screen, but with a model railway, you're doing it in the real world, in 3 dimensions, and you create something that you can touch and feel and even make move, and it's real. It's not virtual on screen. And I mean, what you talk to some of these digital pundits, and they think the world is going to go virtual. Well, as far as I'm concerned, it isn't.
No.
You know, we still love to be able to make things with our own hands and get that sense of achievement and personal satisfaction out of it. And that's why model railways has been so endearing for so long.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and that's what I love about it as well. And yeah, it's. I mean, I love modelling myself when I find actual time to do it. But in fact, yeah, Tony, you were just saying, Tony Armitage, you know, because you've reviewed and photographed her layout before. She's teaching me scenics at the moment on a Saturday. So I'm trying to find some more time to do it myself. But,
absolutely, yeah. Okay, then. So you've got a new model here, then.
We have indeed.
Tell me a little bit about it, because you know, it's O gauge. I generally don't model in O gauge myself. I'm 4mm man or a 009 or whatever. But tell me a little bit about it. It looks quite intriguing.
So this is our Wickham trolley and trailers. They basically arrived on Thursday on the way up to they arrived at 8 o'clock in the morning, just before we set off for the show, the first batch. This is our first locomotive, technically, although
it's got a motor in, has it? Is it?
So the motor is hidden just underneath there. It's a tiny little motor, double-ended.
Have you designed this yourselves then? Because it's got an Ellis Clark trademark on it.
This is our own. Yeah, this is one of our own products. So we started. Our first product was the O-gauge press floors, and this is our second product out now, the Wickham trolley. But this is our first self-propelled model.
Powered model, that's right, yeah. Well, that's great. So you've got the motor completely designed from scratch. From your workshop, as it were.
Exactly that.
That's super. It's not possible to see it running here, sadly. So what I'm going to have to do is see it running on somebody else's layout at some point.
I was going to say, you'll be getting them for review, and we want to run some this weekend.
We will give it a run in the Railway Modeller office without doubt. Superb detail, anyway. Absolutely.
Well,
is there a railway anywhere, a heritage railway, that offers rides on these things? Because they really ought to do.
It's a good point. Do you know what? There are so many of these preserved. Most preserved railways have one. And we've done a few of the preserved liveries. We've done a chalk and cream, which is at Didcot. I think it's Didcot. I need to double check because we're doing it free. There's a black with yellow wasp stripes at Mangaps. And there's a maroon with a white roof that is at. I'll have to double check this now. There's a bad but.
There is a plethora of heritage railways. When I was first interested in railways and model railways back in the 1960s, we only had Tullyclin Railway, Keighley and Worth Valley, North Yorkshire Mowers and the Severn Valley. And now there's one in every corner. There is even a small one in East Yorkshire called the Wolds Valley Railway, and who would have thought that one would have started up on the old Driffield to Malton line? It's fantastic. Every corner of England seems to have a railway heritage arrangement of some description.
I totally agree, and I think that's again that testament coming back to that thing of when people thought the hobby was dying. Because I always say the heritage railways and the museums have such a part to play in it. But they're always they're booked out, like these specials and the dining specials and the the footplate rides and everything like that.
Isn't it? Yeah. Yes, and I went to the Yorkshire Dales Railway last summer incognito because I wanted to have a ride on the NER autocar that got recovered there. And I guess on the platform, and I was instantly recognised as the NER. And what did they do? They gave me a drive. Let me have a drive as well. So that was quite good. I tried to do it incognito, but I got spotted.
No, you can't go anywhere, can you?
No, that's the case, yeah. Anyway, that's superb.
Fantastic.
Yes. Have you got anything up your sleeve that you can tell me as a journalist about to keep quiet? I mean, nobody else will know. Will they?
No. It's just my mum and dad who watch this, Steve. So no, we got the Black 5 coming next, which is in the display case over there. After that, we've got quite a lot planned in O-gauge that we want to do. But we'll maybe give you an exclusive at some point for an announcement.
Yes, please. And when I'm up in the Dales, this coming summer, I'm definitely going to call round at your premises.
Oh, to the
Because
showroom.
I still haven't been yet, have I?
It's worth it for the coffee alone, I'm telling you.
All right. Excellent. Right, thanks,
Fantastic.
Ellis. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for that, Steve. I really, really appreciate it.
All
And
right.
I'll be seeing you soon at the showroom.
Yeah, my pleasure. I'll bring a copy of Railway Modeller with me as well. So.
Thank you. Thank you
Thanks
very
very
much.
much.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.